Chipmunks. Welcome to the AMP Cycling Ride Review Series. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk, and today we're in France taking on the Lacets de Montvernier Chaussy route. This route is available on Rouvy, so let's get right to it. So this is a rather short route at only 19 kilometers long, but with that all-important over 1 kilometer of climbing with 1,044 meters of elevation gain. The whole ride averages 5% and will peak at 13%. There's just one Strava segment included on Rouvy, but there are several on Strava itself. They range from the full Col de Chaussy to just the Lacets. The only included segment is Montvernier. It's at the 6 kilometer mark, is 5.2 kilometers long, with 415 meters of elevation gain, averaging 8%. Strava considers this one a Cat 2 climb. Somewhat annoyingly, you'll actually start climbing about 500 meters before the segment even starts. The climb starts when you come around a corner and overtake the Maillot Jaune and Maillot Vert. The gradients here are pretty consistently in the 7 to 9% range, with a couple of spots of double digits peaking at 11%. There's not much you need to do in terms of thinking about this part of the climb, as it's just so consistent. There isn't much change after finishing the Lacets, but the final 900 meters of the segment do back off slightly. The full Col du Chaussy climb is 13.9 kilometers long, with 1,036 meters of elevation gain, averaging 7.4%. For the full climb, Strava considers it to be an HC climb. And even though it isn't listed on Rouvy, it's remarkably similar to the Montvernier segment. There are a lot of groupings of the higher gradients, which are mostly in the 8 to 9% range, with a few 6 to 7% and some 10+% sections interspersed throughout. All in all, it's just a very consistent uphill drag, and that's really not a bad thing at all. It's kind of nice to just sit around your threshold for extended periods of time. For this ride, you can get away with a bit of a shorter warm-up than you would for other mountain passes, since the first 5.5 kilometers are very flat and mild. I wouldn't delete it altogether, but you can shorten it considerably by using the route to your advantage. The ending is the summit though, so you will need to have a very good cooldown. And as always, I recommend pre-fueling your ride and including plenty of protein with that. If you can't pre-fuel, have 20 grams or so when you start your warm-up. It should show up just in time for the climb, and since there is that nice long flat bit at the start. This isn't too difficult of a climb with its consistency. It's a bit easier to eat while riding. There's not a lot of extended steep bits where it would require faster acting carbs, so bars are a good choice along the whole thing if you need them. And at over 1,000 meters, definitely follow this one up with a protein of some sort and a magnesium supplement. The view on this ride is possibly one of the best on all of Rouvy. The route starts in a little village, which is pretty epic as the big mountains are quite visible in the background. Once you get onto the climb proper, the roads are insanely narrow with just enough room for 2 cars. The forest comes right up to the edge of the road and really closes you in. But the most epic part of the view here are the clouds. All of the background mountains are covered in low-hanging clouds, and eventually the route goes high enough that you kind of ride through the clouds themselves. This is so epically amazing and creates an unbelievably immersive experience. When you finally emerge from the clouds, it's a beautiful sunny day at the summit. This ride took me about 1.5 hours to complete on 100% difficulty emulation. With the possibility of a shorter warm-up, I would say to budget anywhere from 1.5 to 2 hours for this one. It's not really a good choice for those with time constraints, and it's not a really good one to stop halfway and pick up again later. Overall, this is a beautiful ride that I would definitely recommend for the climbing enthusiast. It's not an overly difficult climb as those gradients are so consistent, so it's possibly a good choice for those who are just starting their climbing journey as well. The amazing view makes this one of my favorites I've done on Rouvy. For this route, I give a 5 out of 5. It's just perfect. Great route, great climb, great time for filming. I really love this one. For the climb itself, 3.5 to 4 out of 5. The consistency of this climb makes it a bit easier than some of the other French climbs, which is pretty great. It's a little easier to pace along without needing those bursts of energy. For the view, 6 out of 5. The fog here really makes this one special. And overall, 5 out of 5. Definitely put this one in your ride queue. Even if you're not really into climbs, chuck it on a lower difficulty emulation just so you can experience the majesty of this one. Well, that's it for this review, so thanks for watching, chipmunks. Please let me know what you think of the Col de Chaussy route and the 17 epic switchbacks when you complete it. I'll leave you to finish the rest of the ride, and I'll see you next week for another review. Until then, ride on, chipmunks, ride on.